My child, if you have almost given up recently, if you have quietly wondered whether your life matters as much as everyone else's, if you have ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, would anyone even notice if I disappeared for a while? Stop here for a moment, because heaven has an answer for you. And you need to hear it today. The fact that you are still here matters more than you know, not because of what you own, not because of what you have accomplished, not because of your job title, your success, or the things you still haven't achieved. The fact that you are still here matters because you are still breathing, still trying, still hoping, still getting up, even when life has given you every reason to stay down. That matters more than you realize. My child, there were mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. Nobody knew. You still got up. There were nights when your heart felt heavy, for reasons you couldn't even explain. Nobody saw it. You still made it through. There were seasons when you smiled on the outside while quietly falling apart on the inside. Nobody noticed, yet you kept going. Heaven noticed. I noticed. And I need you to know something. I have never overlooked your silent battles. Not once. People celebrate visible victories, promotions, graduations, new homes, big accomplishments. But heaven celebrates invisible victories too. Getting out of bed, taking a shower when you had no energy, sending one more message, going to work while your heart was hurting, choosing to stay when giving up seemed easier, trying one more time after disappointment. These victories matter, perhaps more than you know. My child. The world only celebrates people when they win. Heaven celebrates people who refuse to quit. The world applauds success. Heaven notices endurance. The world notices the finish line. Heaven notices the person who almost stopped halfway and kept going anyway. The person who cried in private, but still showed kindness. The person who felt empty, but still showed up. The person who wanted to give up, but chose to stay. That person matters. You matter. You have survived days you once thought would destroy you. Do you remember that? There were moments when you truly believed, I can't do this anymore. Yet somehow, here you are, still breathing, still listening, still trying, still standing. That is not weakness. That is courage, wearing ordinary clothes. My child, you spend so much time focusing on what is missing that you forget how much you have already survived. You focus on what you haven't accomplished. I see what you overcame. You focus on your weaknesses. I see your perseverance. You focus on your failures. I see your courage. You focus on how tired you are. I see how far you have come, and you have come farther than you realize. There were people who walked away. You stayed. There were disappointments that broke your heart. You healed. There were seasons that nearly crushed your spirit. You survived. There were nights you thought would never end. Morning still came, and so did you. You are still here. That matters. My child. You keep measuring your life with impossible standards. You ask yourself, am I successful enough? Am I productive enough? Am I important enough? Am I enough? I have never asked those questions about you. I ask different questions. Did you keep loving after you were hurt? Did you keep believing after disappointment? Did you remain kind in a world that often rewards bitterness? Did you keep walking when life became heavy? Those things matter to heaven, far more than you know. Underscore. There are people whose lives are better because you exist. You may never know their names. You may never hear their stories. The smile you gave, the encouragement you offered, the message you sent, the moment you listened, the kindness you barely remember, the way you made someone feel seen. Light rarely knows how far it travels, but it travels farther than you think. My beloved child, my child, sometimes you feel invisible. You wonder whether anyone truly sees you, whether anyone notices how hard you try, whether anyone understands how tired you are. I do. I see the effort nobody applauds. I see the tears nobody knows about. I see the strength it takes for you to continue. I see every hidden battle, every quiet victory, every act of courage. None of it is wasted. None of it is forgotten. Underscore. You have spent so much of your life trying to become someone else that you have forgotten the value of who you already are. You do not need to become more lovable. You do not need to become more worthy. You do not need to earn your place in this world. You already have one. You belong, not because you proved yourself, because you are mine. Sundar, underscore. My child, there are seasons where growth looks like progress, and there are seasons where growth simply looks like survival. Both are growth. Some years are for building, some years are for healing, some years are simply for making it through. Do not confuse survival with failure. Sometimes survival is courage in its purest form. Underscore. Please hear this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not a burden. You are not unimportant. You are not taking up too much space. You matter. Your life matters. Your presence matters. Your story matters. Even if you cannot see it right now. Underscore. My child, if you cannot see your value today, borrow my eyes for a moment. I see kindness. I see resilience. I see compassion. I see strength. I see someone who keeps getting back up. I see someone who has carried far more than most people know. I see someone worthy of peace, worthy of rest, worthy of love. I see someone worth fighting for. I see you. And I know there were moments when you wondered whether anyone would miss you, whether anyone would notice your absence, whether your existence truly made a difference. Listen carefully. The world would not be the same without you. There are people who smile because you exist. There are people who found hope because you stayed. There are lives that are brighter because your path crossed theirs. Even when you cannot see your impact, it is there. Underscore. My child, one day you will look back on this season differently. You will realize that the moments you thought were meaningless were teaching you strength. The delays were teaching you trust. The lonely seasons were growing roots beneath the surface. Nothing was wasted. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your pain, not your perseverance. Even this season has purpose, especially this season. Underscore. Before you continue with your day, before you pick up the responsibilities waiting outside this moment, I need you to remember something. The world may measure your value by what you do. I never have. I have always seen something deeper. I see your heart. I see your courage. I see your endurance. I see your willingness to keep going. And that matters more than you know. Underscore. My child, The fact that you are still here after everything that tried to steal your joy, after everything that tried to steal your peace, after everything that tried to steal your hope, is proof that your story is not finished. Because if I were finished with your story, you would not still be here. You still have purpose. You still have love to give. You still have moments of joy waiting for you. You still have prayers waiting to be answered. You still have beautiful days ahead. And you still have a future. So if your heart needed this message today, simply whisper, Lord, thank you for not giving up on me while I was learning not to give up on myself. Then keep walking, slowly if necessary, resting if necessary, healing if necessary, but keep walking, because your story is not over. The fact that you are still here is proof that there is still more ahead of you. And my child, that matters more than you know.